Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Coffee Chat. I've missed y'all the last couple of weeks. It's been a while since I was able to be here.
Yeah, since I guess the 4th of July.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but I'm so happy to be here today. I am here with Carol Tuberville and I'm here with Dana behind the camera, and Will is also monitoring everything and keeping us going. But welcome everybody, and I'm ready to just sit down and chill and have some coffee, but no hot coffee.
Yeah, it's too hot for hot coffee.
No hot coffee today. I had to go with my iced coffee because we were just talking about before we went on how hot it is everywhere. I don't know how hot it is where you are, but Carol was saying she was talking to a client that is in extreme heat.
Yeah, they said it was like the 3rd day in a row of actual 115, and they're on like their 2nd week of like triple digits.
Well,
so we're hot here too, but ours is the feels like this.
Well, ours is so hot because it rains so much and then it's like steam, and it's just like you're caught in the middle of the heat and just the evaporation. It's just muggy and hot, and you do not want to go outside.
We glisten whenever we go outside.
Yeah, we do.
You like walk outside and it's instant.
But that is the one thing about being in the South. It is good for your skin. That is very good
always
for our
glistening.
skin. So
And
hopefully we'll look younger.
It's also, if you drink your water, it's good for flushing out your system.
That's good. That's good. Well, today we've got a great topic. So everybody come on in, get yourself some coffee or sit down and take a break. We won't be here too long, just long enough to kind of educate you a little bit. But Dana, if anybody has any comments, Dana's here to kind of chime in. And if you have questions, and I think you're going to have a lot of questions today.
Barkley McDoodle said hi.
Well,
Hi.
hello, Barkley.
I love that name.
I love it. Yeah, so if y'all got questions about our topic today, just go ahead and, post your questions, and Dana will find a time where we can, get those questions answered, okay? So our topic today is a fun topic. It's very, very true to my heart, dear to my heart, and it is the F1 English Goldendoodle. And exactly what is that? Because a lot of times, you'll see Goldendoodles and you'll see all the generations, and so many people, they're not aware of exactly what an F and a number, or a number and a letter actually means. And it all starts with that first F1 generation. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, it is.
So I'm excited about that. All right, so before we go into the science of it, and Carol has got her stack of paperwork, and she's going to pull stuff up on us.
I do. I actually have props. I have stuff to show. I have sheets and handouts. It's really funny. So in my household, we are nerds at our house. We're adorkable, we like to say sometimes.
Adorkables?
Adorkable. We're adorkable. So instead of adorable, we're adorkable.
Okay.
I love it.
So, like we were even trying to decide what movie to watch, and we did this whole PowerPoint presentation of all of us debating on which movie we should watch or shouldn't watch. So I have handouts. I don't have a PowerPoint, but we do have handouts.
No, it's just a little coffee chat, okay? But she wants to get all scientific on us, and that's okay because you guys have a lot of questions. So what is an F1 English Goldendoodle? Let's just get into this. Okay, Will, do you have a slide? A slide, okay. An F1 English Goldendoodle basically equals this, okay? It will be an English retriever, and it can be our handsome little Fletcher cartoon there. It can be him as the sire, and then a standard poodle can be the dam. So the dam and the sire, it is 50% golden retriever and 50% poodle, okay? Right. So that is how you get an F1 English Goldendoodle, but it doesn't just happen to go this way, Will. We might want to go to the second or third slide over. We might want to miss the next one. Okay, it can also be it can also be a standard poodle sire and an English golden retriever dam. Now, let me just tell you this. My son made these today, and I did not critique them. And it's so funny because obviously he does not know exactly what is going on here. Because, the first one on the left is the sire, okay? And that would be the father, and it can be a golden retriever or it can be a poodle. So bottom line, what we want to say to you, it does not matter if the sire, the dad, is a golden or a poodle.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if the dam is a golden or a poodle, the mom. But it has to be one of each.
Correct.
And it can be either way. It can be the poodle mom, golden dad, or the golden mom and the poodle dad.
Right. So basically, an F1 is a first generation cross of 2 purebreds. So that doesn't matter what you're breeding, but in Goldendoodles, obviously it has to be a golden retriever and a poodle. But if I was doing peas, it could be just 2 different ones that
Yeah,
the
because
first generation cross.
this works in every scientific realm, in the
So
vegetable, animals, fruit, everything.
Everything. So F1 is just the first generation cross. Now, there are some rules that we have to follow with
Yeah, there
this,
are.
But it's a 100% purebred of one, then a 100% purebred of the other
Mm-hmm.
that crosses for the first generation. Now, one of the rules that we have to follow is, so we can do a golden retriever dad and a standard poodle mom. We
Mm-hmm.
can do a golden retriever mom and a standard poodle dad. But we also can do a golden retriever mom and a mini poodle dad.
Yeah.
Or a toy poodle dad. You can't do it the other way. You can't do a golden retriever dad and then a mini poodle mom, because that just isn't something
It
you
doesn't
would do.
work. So, and it's all about size. So, just know it is 50-50, and that's where everything starts here in our breeding program.
Mm-hmm.
Here at Smeraglia, the very first breeding that ever happened that was a hybrid was a golden retriever sire bred to a poodle
Mother.
standard female mom. Yes, and it was Diva and Murphy.
Yep.
So the book is what they call historical fiction. The very first English Goldendoodle, because we changed the names a little bit. We changed Diva's name to Georgiana, because the word diva, I didn't want to put in a kid's book. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I didn't do that because I didn't want people to say something about it. And it was a kid's book, you know. Not that that's a bad thing. It was just more of a description or adjective, you know. And so I wanted her to have a really fun Southern name. Anyway, it just happened that way. So that's how we got our very first one. So they are 50-50. And the great thing about that is that when I did that breeding, it was because Lucas was severely allergic to golden retrievers, and they were my heart. I know I mentioned that this morning in my live, but they were absolutely my heart. And I don't think if Lucas had not been, allergic to them, I'd have ever ventured into the hybrid doodle realm.
But it's a good thing that you did, because
Yeah.
there's so many great things that, the hybrids benefit so many people, and they also benefit the dog world overall and in
Yeah.
general, because there's so many things that we're learning and that are coming out through the science
Right.
that we're learning about with all this.
And we're doing a lot of genetic and DNA testing, and that's some of the facts and paperwork that Carol has here right now.
Yeah.
But the thing about this is that is it is a wonderful, great breeding. It's the ultimate. But what we've learned here at Smeraglia is that not everybody can tolerate an F1, because that 50% golden is still too much golden retriever for some people. So that's why we start getting into the second generations, which is the F1Bs and the F2Bs and things like that. That is not the topic of today. F1 is the topic.
Right. And so for us in a breeding program, obviously our parent breeds are where everything starts.
Yes.
But technically here, F1s are it's our big thing. It's what we do. And so a lot of times, even when we breed an F1 litter, we're not we breed those almost like we breed our parent breed. So when we breed a golden retriever, we're breeding that for our program. And then we keep what we need for the program, and then we adopt out the rest of
That's
these
right.
wonderful, fabulous puppies. Well, F1 breedings are very, very similar in that we're breeding that for the program to make F1Bs and BBs and F2s and things like that.
All the things. Every recipe
Correct.
starts with an F1.
Right. But if you have a mom like Abby who has
Yeah.
10 puppies, we didn't need 10 for the program,
No.
which means we have great puppies that were bred to be quality, like the best of the best for
Gorgeous.
what we want. But there's also puppies that we offer to clients.
Dana, do you have any comments?
We have a few.
Okay.
We've got Barkley McDoodle says Barkley is a Merle Blue Golden Doodle. I also have a teddy bear black schnoodle. Aw. Jeffrey says, hi, Sherry. Pleasant temps for a change in Chicago.
Oh.
Perfect weather to welcome a Smeraglia Goldendoodle this fall. I've secured my spot for an F1 BB Goldendoodle.
All right. Well, you're going to have a
Congratulations.
super allergy friendly, pretty much non-shedding. You're going to get it all. That's great. Yes, congratulations. So, but what we want you guys to understand is that every formula here begins with an F1. Of course, a golden and a poodle, but then the first, the first breeding is that F1 generation, and that's where we start, and then that's where we go from there. But I will tell you that so many people will say, why would you even breed beyond the F1? Because they're the perfect breeding. They're the perfect dog. Well, they are the perfect dog if you are a golden retriever lover like me, okay? I'm a golden retriever lover. I needed my golden not to shed.
Right.
I was like, stop shedding. You're shedding buckets and you are making everybody sick. Well, when I bred that first generation, thank goodness it was the fix for my kids and my family. But it is not the fix for everybody's family. And so everybody can't land on an F1. But I'm saying to you guys, if you can tolerate an F1, and if you're not coming to us because you're allergic, but it's more for less shedding, they do shed less, but they do shed some, but
Low shed.
They're low shedders, and some of them hardly shed at all because there's something we've learned about them, right?
Yeah, and we'll get into that for sure. So one of the things I was going to bring up too, as we were talking about the sizes, so one of the things too is medium Goldendoodles we've learned and we know from you guys and from our adoption specialists are not as common as some of the other ones.
Right.
But it's because of having to breed the different sizes. So golden retriever to standard poodle, they can do that without a whole lot of assistance.
They can naturally breed.
Correct. So if we have instead a golden retriever mom and we're breeding that down a size, so like you were saying, if you're looking for a golden retriever but maybe can't tolerate the hair, or maybe you need something smaller, that's where the F1 comes in. So with a golden retriever mom, that can come down a size, breeding it to a miniature poodle or to a toy poodle, and then we get those mediums. Now, I can't do that in reverse because we would never breed like a 20-pound toy poodle to a 70-pound male golden retriever.
But you can do it the other way.
You can do it the other way, but that requires intervention or artificial insemination. And because not every breeder can do that, that's why they're rarer and harder to come by.
Yeah, and they're more in demand. And so here's the thing. F1s only come in standard size because standard poodles and golden retrievers are your large, or they come in a medium miniature size that vary between about 35 to all the way up to about 50 pounds. That's it. You cannot, like a lot of people want to go on the application and put, I want an extra small F1. It doesn't happen. You cannot get an extra small or really a small F1. If we get that, it is just by default because we used a small boy and one puppy in the litter just took after daddy and he became super small, but we can never take an application for that.
Correct. And the rules that we follow within Goldendoodles and the hybrids is you can only go down one size per generation. So since a golden retriever by default is large, going down one size means mediums as far as you can go. Now we've had it happen. We actually have a dog that is a retired breeder, Haven, who is about 12 pounds, and she's an F1, but her dad was only 8 pounds.
Yeah.
And so she went to a 50-pound golden, honeymoon, bred to Bristol, so 50-pound golden to a little teeny tiny toy poodle boy, and we got Haven from that litter who was little, but that's not the norm. And there was also sisters and brothers in the litter who ended up 35 and 40 pounds, which is what you expect.
Right. She took after her father, so in the genetics and the DNA supported that she had more of that. So I do love it. The other thing I love about the F1 is they're more consistent as far as the way they look, because you're pretty much 50-50. And our Dr. Cordy, who was our vet for many, many years, when he explained it to us on very elementary terms, he was like, okay, so basically here's how it works, okay? You take a jar and you put gumballs, and you put 50 blue gumballs, and you put 50 red gumballs in there, okay? And blue is your golden retriever genetics, and the red is the poodle. So every time you breed, or they breed, it pulls from those gumballs. So every puppy has to get 2. There's a greater chance that you're gonna reach in there and get 2 that are a red and a blue than there are
Correct.
similars. And so that's why they're a little bit more consistent.
Right. So like
that makes sense.
It does. So like if I have a jar that's nothing but blue gumballs and a jar that's nothing but red gumballs, I know that the genes that this parent is sending forward are red gumballs. The genes this parent's sending forward are blue gumballs, and that's my only option.
Hybrids.
And so it works out that way. So what's cool about that too is and on DNA the way that works is, so a golden retriever has the genetics for a certain coat type, which is a straight coat type.
Right.
The poodle has the genetics for a different coat type, which is curly, and they are what is known as homozygous. So there's a vocabulary word which means the same. So you have two of the same genes from each parent. So blue, red, we'll say. Okay. And then if each of them sends one forward, that means you're going to get one of each. And that's why we keep that consistency, because every single F1 is going to have one from each parent. So since a poodle has the genes for a curly coat, the retriever has the genes for a straight coat, that means when those two genes, one of each, go forward, every F1 puppy should have the genetics for a wavy coat, which is what those two do when they work together.
And they have this beautiful, like fluffy, loose wavy coat. I'll never forget when we had our first litter. Of course, the puppies to me look like little golden retriever puppies because that's what I was raising and showing. And I was like, well, they look like little golden retrievers, except there's a black one in there. And where did that one come from? I didn't think we could get anything other than gold from Goldendoodles. Now what do I call this, a blackened doodle, you know?
Right.
But anyway, because the mom was chocolate, she carried something else. I was just shocked to see it. Of course, I was very young, brand new, only dealing with one thing at the time, Goldens. I was shocked to see a black puppy come, but turned out to be gorgeous, beautiful. But later on, months later, when I got a picture in the mail, somebody sent me this gorgeous photo, and I was like, look at this gorgeous dog. And it was just like, it was like a golden retriever with a perm. And I was like, I love this dog. And then I showed it to my husband. He was like, well, whatever that is, that's what you ought to be raising. I said, I did. I bred this. This is my dog, you know, and I was so proud. And that just, I mean, instantly, I just fell in love with the Goldendoodle. And that is what we're here today. We want to share with you guys about the Goldendoodles and the F1 generation and how great they are, and to let you guys know, you know, right now, like we are retiring lots of dogs in our program. And so because we're retiring dogs, we do have some F1s that are going to be retired, but also we're breeding for our program. So this is one of the best times at Smeraglia right now to get on a list for these beautiful F1s because they are mind-blowing how pretty they are.
They are, and it's amazing when you think back to then, like where we are now and everything that we've learned and, you know, kind of gone through to get where we are now. So yeah, the F1s are, you know, all of our heart. We just love them. They really epitomize that hybrid vigor, that getting the best of both in that one puppy. And so, but like you said, not everybody can tolerate that.
No, and I'm so thankful because I actually have an F1B. I don't even have an F1 right now. Now, like my son, Lucas has Moose, and he is an F1. He lives with an F1, the kid that had the dog allergies. Meredith and Taylor both have F1s. I believe Porter and Stout are F1s. And I am like right there, like, okay, my next one is going to be an F1, you know? And so I just love that breeding. But I love all of our generations because they all have a purpose, and they really, we breed with so much consistency. Sometimes it's hard for us now to tell what's an F1, what's an F1B, what's an F2, just by looking, because our breeding has gotten so cohesive. And I'm about big blocky heads, loose wavy coats. I like the plushness. I do like that very teddy bear plush, but I can do the range right there. And so a lot of times people can't even tell if it's a Twoodle, Schnoodle, or Goldendoodle anymore. But there is something different when it comes to, if you're a golden person,
Yep.
You're going to want 50% golden if you can have it. If that's your heart, so many people call me and they're like, I just don't want to get far away from the golden. I just want to be as close to that breeding as possible.
Right.
You got some facts for
So
us?
what we were going to talk about was this. So I have 2 boys that are in our program, and I was going to show you guys a little bit about what we're talking about with the shedding versus non-shedding.
Okay.
So there is a gene for shedding, and so this is Albert, and Albert is a pretty typical golden retriever male. Realize, we all know most retrievers shed. That's kind of what they do. The ones
they don't just shed, they shed a ton.
They shed a lot. And so on DNA, probably 95% of your retrievers, and you guys probably can't see
No,
this
they won't be able to
super
see
well,
that. No.
But on DNA, and we can send this over, it will register as, and it literally says likely heavy seasonal shedding. That's what most of them are going to say with the genes that are present. It's basically CT, likely heavy seasonal shedding. Now, we have a couple of retrievers in our program that instead of being CT are...
We didn't breed Albert. We worked very close with a very, very, very specialized breeder that Albert you can't even get his bloodlines anymore. So it's very close breeding.
Well, and Albert brings a lot of things to the table that
we need
can get elsewhere, and we definitely need. So Thor is another male retriever in our program, or the other male retriever in our program right now, and his is actually it's TT is what it is, which is light shedding. So it's unusual to have that in a retriever, but if you can find a retriever that has that light shedding, now all of a sudden we're in a whole new dynamic of what F1s can do.
F1 can actually operate like an F1B for you. And actually, Lauren's, one of her very best friends, Nicole, that lives in New York. Nicole, if you're watching, you can chime in. She has a puppy from Thor, and he does not hardly shed. And we would go to her apartment. This is before we did the DNA testing on Thor and knew that he was a lower shedder. And I would think, well, gosh, why do you don't hardly have any hair in the apartment? I mean, Bodhi's not hardly shedding. Where's all the hair? And she was like, I don't know. I mean, well, there you go.
Well, and so we have a staff member too that has a F1 that's a Thor puppy and also has an F1B. And her F1 sheds less than her F1B because it's a Thor puppy.
Well,
and so because the way that goes.
And that's why we're really getting deep into the nitty gritty into DNA testing because, hey, our mission statement here, we're after allergy friendly, low to non-shedding. That's our goal here.
Well, and here's the curveball to this. So there's another gene that works on shedding, and it's the furnishing gene. Well, if a dog has 2 copies of this furnishing gene, they typically won't shed. So this particular gene, they won't shed anyway.
Whoa.
So when you have a poodle, they all have 2 copies of this gene that says, hey, we're not gonna shed. So for poodles, no one's really bred with focus on what this CT and light shedding or no is.
They don't need to.
So you might get a poodle that has a C and a T. They might actually have the DNA for heavy shedding, but it's nullified by this other gene that's at work. And I know this gets super, super deep.
It's like getting over y'all's heads. I mean,
but this is where sometimes because your poodle may be hiding some of those shedding genes, when you do a hybrid breeding, if you don't know the DNA and what's behind it, you can actually end up with a pretty heavy shedding F1. If you cross a heavy shedding golden with a poodle that's hiding those heavy shedding genes, we can end up with some pretty heavy shedding puppies, which we don't.
We don't.
Because we have the DNA and we watch
We
for
got the facts. Now, Dana, are they just like sitting there like, what
crickets
just happened?
are chirping.
Huh?
Crickets are chirping in
Everybody's
They're
listening.
like taking it in, and I get it. It's like, okay, we're taking this in. But this is why we want to fill y'all in and let you know that we are in research and development. We're behind here, behind the scenes, trying to get the right formula, make it right so that our puppies will be better and better and better as far as when it comes to shedding and allergy friendly and things like that.
Judy Sampson says, so interesting.
I know, it is so interesting.
Yes. And Linda wants to say hi to me, you, and Carol.
Oh, hey. I love that, though. And, I mean, okay, right now, do we have a litter on the ground of almost like low to non-shedding F1s.
We do. It's the Emerson litter.
Oh my gosh, that litter's like just being opened up too.
It has been, like it is just now opening up, and Emerson is a poodle that is not hiding shedding genes, and she's bred to Thor, which means this is an F1 litter that will be lower shedding. We also have another litter, the Josephine litter, but I happen to know that there's only like one spot left.
We might have a Josephine puppy here right now.
We might, and I think they're
Do we have
available,
a
but I think
Josephine
there's
puppy around? Is a Josephine puppy around here? Oh, okay. That's Josephine.
should be Josephine.
Oh, Sam.
So now,
Oh my God. Heart.
this one's your
Robert.
puppy though.
This is my baby.
This is your puppy.
Oh my God. Give me this baby. Give me this thing. Give me that baby. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Look, guys. Let me move this.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
we got to move that.
Oh, look at that tail.
Look.
She says I
Oh my
She's
God.
so
Okay.
pretty.
How many people would think this is a golden retriever?
Right.
This looks like a little golden retriever, baby.
She's so happy.
Oh my
I love you.
God,
I love
love
you.
her. You're so sweet. Y'all, they're just so, I love, okay, now, English Goldendoodles. All of our retrievers are pretty much this color right here. This beautiful ultra cream color. I was the first person, and I was the first person to ever breed English Goldendoodles. Now, there were Goldendoodles in America before I bred my first litter, guys, but nobody had imported these beautiful, fabulous golden retrievers from Europe. Went through all that work to get them into the States because you couldn't get them. This would be disqualified in the United States and the show ring because it's like, that's not a golden retriever. They're supposed to be blonde, like
Gold.
Yeah, and this would disqualify them. But look at the pigment on the nose, the eyes, the paw pads. I mean, to me,
In the mouth too.
mouth,
So
they're
like when you
lippy.
look up, yeah. So nice dark color in the mouth. All of it.
So beautiful, guys. And so this right here is an F1 puppy we bred. We're keeping this. This is my girl from the litter. Did you say there's anybody else from this litter?
There's a boy available still.
Okay.
So I do think y'all check online. I do think there is still at least one boy
So
available.
it would be from the Josephine litter. yeah.
Josephine to Thor.
Now, is the Emerson litter online right now?
They should be online
Okay.
right
Now
now.
they're younger. They're
They are much younger. I think they're right at 3 weeks old right now.
So if you go to upcoming, you'll see Emerson and you'll see the Albert and Emerson litter, and that is the litter.
And we're gonna have boys available in that too.
We're keeping the two girls.
Right now there's 2 girls, and as of right now we're keeping them. We're gonna watch them grow up a
Because
little
I'm
bit.
retiring so many girls, and I have to.
It is, and like we said earlier, this is the foundation of what we do. Are these F1s and what
I
they
do
are?
Stunning.
And I get
She is
bought
stunning.
F1s. I get
Yeah, look at this. Is your
F1s.
favorite, like that profile that she's got, that really stunning head type.
my
She's
God.
Well,
gorgeous.
Jeffrey's got a great question. He
What's
said,
that?
with what you shared about your breeding program, would you say F1 are less available compared to your other generations?
Yeah, we don't have as many available.
Yeah, we don't have as many available, and to be honest, we breed for our program so that we can continue breeding, but we also breed for our clients, and F1B is probably what our clients request more than anything
There's
else.
so many people with severe allergies. Our people that are dealing with severe allergies, really, we push them towards an F1B. We never, ever encourage an F1 because we don't want somebody to get a puppy and fall in love with it and then it not be able to tolerate that breeding or that dog. But we do t-shirt test. I'm like trying to keep her up. We do a t-shirt test to find out. We also do allergy visits where you could come and you can meet the puppy and see if you're going to have a reaction. We want to set you up for success for sure. But they're also very protected here. You want to discuss that, Carol? Since
Yes.
I'm very distracted, but
So one
they're
of the things,
protected by
so
us.
with our F1s, we currently are like in a hold pattern on the mandatory spay neuter, but we typically require our F1s to be spayed or neutered prior to leaving us because we've gotten a lot of reports, and it's really, really sad. We have to set up our standards to what I typically say is the lowest common denominator of person out there. Most of you guys that are watching, that's not you. You're trying to educate yourself, you're trying to do this, but do understand, we've literally gotten phone calls from shelters where someone who's adopted an F1 for us bred it, couldn't sell puppies anymore, dumped off mom and puppies at the shelter, and now we have to go and rescue. And so the thing is, because F1s are the foundation of what most Goldendoodle breeders are breeding. They're breeding F1Bs, they're breeding F2s. A lot of people will buy an F1 with the sole purpose of breeding it in an uneducated way and in a way that isn't appropriate.
No.
So we feel very strongly that we need to do that to protect our puppies. It doesn't mean we won't have conversations with you guys about it and do a much deeper screening process, but we do it as a blanket requirement because when somebody goes to the website and sees mandatory spay neuter on an F1, usually people who are looking to breed inappropriately are going to move on down the road and go elsewhere.
Yeah, and so that's what we do. We require them to be spay and neutered before they leave. And that way we don't have to worry, no guesswork. So that's the rule, and it's for their safety. And
it is.
We hate that we had to go to that extreme, but our vet said that is the path we have to take to keep them safe. And we'll do anything to keep our babies safe.
Absolutely.
And then, so because like I said, every program starts with an F1. They just want to sometimes, just jump the line and not do the foundation. Well, we don't want our foundation work ending up somewhere messed up and not doing right.
Well, we always want our puppies always have a safe place to land here, no matter how old they are, no matter what their life has looked like. And it's just sad to have to rescue them from that type of situation.
That is true. So on with the next.
So on F1s, another thing you had said is with F1s in our breeding program, we're always looking to make our dogs better and to make them healthier. So that's actually something else. So one of the things in working with Embark and a lot of the things that we're doing is you hear us off and on talk about this big thing called coefficient of inbreeding.
Okay, that's a big word, and coefficient of inbreeding.
I'll elaborate.
Took a lot to wrap your head around that, mine, in the beginning.
So I'll simplify it a little bit. Basically, what the coefficient of inbreeding does is it talks about the amount of genetic diversity that is in an individual dog, okay? So when we think about a purebred dog and we think about how that dog was created over time and over history, so if we go way, way back and we think about an English Golden Retriever, you had someone who was breeding and had this really cool and unique color, and they went, you know what, I'm gonna breed in that direction. So they selected for those traits, which meant a limited population of dogs in
They
order
were backing
to breed
up,
that.
doubling up on those genes.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's with every single purebred. In order to get a dog that looked a certain way, to get a shorter muzzle, you had to breed dogs with shorter muzzles over time to get there.
Like getting a little Pekingese short nose go down.
And
down,
long
down.
hair. You had to add, so you basically are eliminating a lot of your genetic diversity when you're breeding for particular traits.
Yeah.
So over time, you end up with a high coefficient of inbreeding, which basically means a lack of genetic diversity. Most purebred dogs right now have a coefficient of inbreeding over 15%. A lot of breeds are in the 20 to 30% range, and some breeds that are considered like critical are getting up in 30 and 40% range, which just to give an example, the 25% number represents shared genetic material if I would have bred a brother to a sister. Okay, so 25% of the genetic material is identical. It doesn't change. It's exactly the same. So for a purebred Golden Retriever, and just to use an example, let's use Thor and Emerson litter as an example. So Thor is pretty typical of Golden Retrievers, and I'm just going to pull up my little piece of paper that goes over all of this real quickly, or as quickly as I can.
Say hi.
His coefficient of inbreeding is 32%. Pretty typical of Goldens. They're up there. So just another side note, another reason why mediums are so uncommon. When you get that number up really, really high, females struggle with fertility. So female Golden Retrievers are really struggling with fertility right now.
Golden breeders are having a hard time getting their dogs bred.
Which is why, because mediums can only be made with female Golden Retrievers, it's why mediums are also much more rare. Just
We don't have a problem with that.
We don't have a
How's
problem
your
with that.
glasses?
So Thor has a 32%. So whenever we look at all of the paperwork, that lack of genetic diversity increases the risk of this purebred dog of all of the things you can't test for. I can test for all kinds of stuff and see that he's clear.
Right.
But there's a lot of things that just the test doesn't exist for yet. And when you lack genetic diversity, you increase the likelihood of lining up those genes. So Emerson, as a purebred poodle, she's pretty typical as well, has a coefficient of inbreeding of 17%.
Wow.
Okay, which is better,
Better.
but still reads no diversity because it's a very
poodle.
it's a purebred poodle.
Right.
Now, when I take this puppy's older litter mate, that's a Thor Emerson puppy, guess what their coefficient of inbreeding is? Guess.
7.
0.
0?
0%. Which means genetic diversity is now super high, which means we almost eliminate the risk of all of these other diseases that we can't test for.
Wow, guys, that's huge.
hybrid vigor.
That's what hybrid vigor is.
Yes. So
Right.
hybrid vigor is super important because by adding that genetic diversity, we're not crossing up recessive traits that we can't see and can't test for.
That's
quite
so
yet.
great. You're gonna be so healthy. That's so good.
You look it already.
You got-
look at that tongue.
You got a very healthy family bloodline.
Well, Linda has a comment. She said,
Okay.
Dana, I was out in my front yard. A man passed by, stopped and said, that is the most striking dog I've ever seen. It's happening wherever I go.
Love
My
it.
goal is to get a record number of your dogs in Baton Rouge.
Come on, baby,
on,
Baton Rouge.
Linda's one of our supporters.
Yes, I
Excellent.
love that. I love it so much. Well, I know. Let's see what time it is. Ooh, all right, guys. Well, this has been really great.
Very informative.
Very informative. So, guys, today, go to the website, look for F1. You can go to Browse Puppies. You can put Goldendoodle, you can put F1 generation, and you can look. If this is what you think that you want, we've got it. We got your tail covered.
Barkley McDoodle has a question. F1 Goldendoodle can golden color? Question mark.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, they can be different colors. Meredith and Taylor's have black ones, you know. They can have a variety of colors. It's just that these parents are more the ultra cream. The golden retriever is always going to be the ultra cream. The color's going to come from the poodle side of the family.
Yeah, so we very commonly use red poodles, which means we get apricot and at
Apricot
times
F1.
red.
Yeah.
Thor's really good at letting the mom's
And
color
we've
be mirrored.
even had a merle before.
We have.
We've had rare colors. So even in the F1, it's not common, but it happens.
Yeah, and I think one of Porter and Stout's sister Belgium is a phantom.
And Deborah said, you should keep Fisher. He is too awesome to neuter. Really, Sherry, keep him.
I'm thinking the same thing. I really am. He hadn't left for prep school yet. He's supposed to go the 27th, I think. And I'm just like, oh my God. But I wanted a girl that looked just like him. And Carol said, I can't have her.
And Renee said, glad I was able to be here today. Thank you. Hey, Renee, she's one of our supporters.
Yay,
And
Renee.
Rosanna gave us 5 hearts.
Thank you. Thank you.
We
Yeah.
need girls with those low shed genes.
I know. But that's why I always end up with the boys. Because anyway, well, guys, you have a great day. Happy coffee chat. This was a good time. It was very educational.
Yes.
And if you got any questions, call the adoption team. They are waiting for your call. We'll be here. Nat and Sam will be here to 7 tonight.
Yeah.
So, hey. All right,
So-
guys. Yeah.
What you naming her?
I haven't named her yet. I got to name her.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out too. So
All
bye,
right,
everybody.
bye, guys.